Hi, everyone. Oily here. Got Mouse Toes, Squib, Hawaii Volcano Squad, and myself. And Oklahoma Prepper talked like he was going to be here, but I don't know. Maybe he's having internet issues or something. And let's make sure we mute our external.
Yes.
All right. So we're going to continue with our last week's. Hi, Jared. How are you? We're going to continue with our with last week's discussion. And let's see. Oh, by the way, we're doing a remodel on our bathroom next week. So we're going to be elbows up to new tub, new flooring, new vanity and sink, and all of that in the cabinet. So I doubt we will have chat next Thursday because we're gonna have to redo the whole thing pretty close. So anyway, so I think we'll just say for next week we better skip next week and then we'll pick it back up again the following week. So how's everybody's week go? How'd your week go?
Good.
Well, good.
Squib?
Busy. Also, Oily, according to YouTube, your show tonight is brought to us by Ortho Home Defense.
Ortho.
Yeah.
Bugs.
That was a commercial that played when I turned it on.
Now, you know what's interesting? Preparing for vermin and insects, because I live on the coast where the cockroach is kind of our state bird, and I have a buttload of containers of boric acid and Raid spray and mouse traps, because once we got to have the windows open, because my solar batteries, I could run my air conditioner, but it'd suck them dry. I'm going to have the windows open and they will come through. They just part the mesh on the screen, right? Walk in, open your refrigerator, start having dinner. But that's a very good intro to our channel, because we need to have pest control when the poop hits the fan.
Well, and that kind of fits with one of my preps this week, because one of the things that we did this week was to bug bomb our shelter, our tornado shelters.
Oh, smart. Yeah, because you're in the ground. That's smart.
Yeah, it's in the ground, and it's also one of those things where we have the brown recluse spiders and the black widows like crazy in our area. So,
you know, I saw one of those survival shows on cable over in between this week and last, and he was, I think he was out. I forget, it was in Sahara or Namibia or someplace, and there was a fire that he was in the area that he was in, and so he went and he just picked up. In the burned area, he looked for, edible food, and he said the best thing that there is barbecued crickets for protein, and they taste kind of like chicken, according to him.
Yeah, I got chicken canned. Screw that. Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying, it's something you can do. And anyway, he was just looking for, edible stuff in the burnt brush fire because there was a big brush fire that, he was dealing with in the area that he was walking through. So
Rat. I'd probably eat my husband before I ate a cricket or any kind of insect or grub.
Well,
that's how hungry you are.
In our area, I know, like the crickets, like if you go to smush one, all of these parasites come out. They're like wriggling all over the place.
Well, yeah, but if they're barbecued.
And yellow juice. They have yellow juice in them. No, and they got them little funky legs. Ugh. Be like trying to eat dental floss.
And Mouse, those ain't cockroaches out where you're at. Them is palmetto bugs.
Exactly, yes. And it's just a dang cockroach. They live in the palmetto tree that my husband continues to plant in my yard. And I'm like,
so you're not in South Carolina. That's the palmetto state, I think.
Yes, I'm in South Carolina. That's why it's the palmetto bug. It's a damn cockroach.
Palmetto bugs.
Yeah, but they just prefer, that's just our palmetto bug, a damn cockroacha. La cucaracha, that's what it is in Spanish. The hell they're talking about? It's a disgusting creature. And they fly, people. They fly. They're big as your thumb.
I know! We get those water ones, which is probably a lot what you get, is those water cockroaches. roaches.
We have
A
Hawaii.
water bug is a bigger roach in Georgia.
Yes.
Well, Hawaii has these flying cockroaches that are just huge. They're like,
Ew.
4 inches long, and they fly. And there's lots of them.
Dan's Urban Survival and Prepping says they do taste like chicken out in the sun, 3-day-old chicken.
Okay. You're probably chewier. Arr, arr. Good thing I have dental implants. Can get that done. Arr.
Oh my goodness.
And hey, Dan, don't worry about your spelling because my keyboard drinks as well. You're not responsible. We read typos and we make
Oh
them.
my gosh, we know. Especially when we're in a hurry and we're trying to get our comment on there. Oh my gosh. So out in the external, we have Dan's Urban Survival and Prepping, Faith Abounds at Melody Acres, Finger Lakes Prepper, STL Tony. Let's see. Squibs out in the external, Mouse Toes, Sandy's Passions, JM at the Nut House. We've got Mouse Toes up there. Who else? I know there's Rain Country Homes, or Rain Country now. She changed it, shortened it up. Jared Walsh. And
Jared, your
everybody?
patches are on the way, and your stickers. Sorry it's taken me so long. I'm just
Slow.
it's busy guy. and I hate going to the flipping post office.
Yes.
But
And
your
we have-
patches, we'll get there. Thank you.
Derplinster and Jay Watterson 69. Okay, that's everybody, I think. I like to give everybody shout outs so you can check out each other's channels.
And we are thrilled to see Derp Slinker and J.W. Watterson 69. Very, very happy.
I know.
Those are our people.
Yeah. Okay, so last week on our chat, we left off at talking about the food and a way to cook it. Do you have a way to cook it? So, anybody have anything to add on what we discussed last week that you didn't think of that you want to discuss before we move on?
I think you
Yeah.
did well. And what was your tea thing? Your Traeger, Oily? You have a Traeger? Okay, because
Mhm.
they were talking in the external how they just love that thing. So
Yeah,
Well.
Traeger Grill. We got it for Christmas. We were blessed.
nice.
So, father-in-law, they did good.
Yeah, I just got my extra items that I forgot to talk about last week. That's all. So let me know when you want me to.
Are they cooking related?
The titanium mess plate
Yeah.
and the bag, the marsupial
Hold it
bag.
up. Hold it up and show your business.
I don't know if I want to do that, but here,
Okay.
this is my titanium mesh plate. It's lightweight. Comes in this mesh bag with a orange mesh bag, and it's really lightweight for plate. And if you drop it, it won't break. And got this marsupial bag. It's silicone impregnated ripstop nylon, and it's 1.1 ounces, so it's really lightweight. It's got a little plastic polymer carabiner, and so it's just a regular bag. Clip it onto your belt loop, and for ultra lightweight trips to
That's
where
great.
So if you don't want to have can't have a whole and gigantic backpack with you,
Right.
you could use it for any purpose. So those are my 2 extra prepping kind of items.
Yay. Jared, sorry about the accident that you got into when somebody hit your car. I'm glad that the nerve block went well and that you're feeling better.
Jared was in an accident?
Yeah, he said he was telling you on the external he was sorry he missed Monday HVS because he was hurting from when someone hit his car on Friday and he got a double nerve block, so he's doing cool now.
I don't even know what that is, a double nerve.
Look at JM's comment, Oily, about the Traeger.
Saw that, yeah. James at the Nut House says, Traeger is awesome. They have a great warranty, too. Ours is 9 years old, and the thermostat thingy went out, and they sent us a new one. Yeah, they are really awesome. They just say don't burn pellets in there that are not Traeger pellets because they can mess them up. I don't know if they burn too hot or what the deal is, but they recommend only using theirs. So, but yeah, we've been real happy with ours so far.
That's nice to have a company stand behind a product and still in business to stand behind their product.
Oh yeah. We don't have any complaints with ours. We like it because it's got the fold-up legs, so we can just scoot it in our camper, and fold it up, scoot it in the camper, and take it with us, and then we can just unload it and stick it out.
Unload
Outside.
it, stick it out. Unload it, stick it
out
out. That was like,
right out there.
what happened last week? What was that there the week before? I'm going to take it out and play with it. Did me in.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. About it. That was Volcano talking about using the stuff in your bug out bag. Take it out and play with it. I came unhinged.
It was the Oklahoma Prepper.
Did I say that?
No,
It
it
was
was the Oklahoma Prepper. The first chat, he said to make sure you take out your equipment and play with it.
Take it out and play with it. I was like, oh my Lord.
Your radios and different stuff that you use, but I could have been taken the wrong way. And I need to apologize to Rane. I'm a moderator, I help her out on her chat, but my gosh, I tell you what, with these storm systems coming in, my head has been like, I don't even have any makeup on today, you can tell. It's been a brutal couple of weeks, let me tell you, because when the barometric pressure just fluctuates like that constantly,
yes.
My head is so bad, and I'm telling you nothing. I've tried my tinctures, I've tried my oils, I've tried pain medicine, and nothing will knock that headache down. Finally, it's doing a little bit better today. I guess the system has moved a little bit further east. So
tornadoes in your area?
Oh yeah, we always have tornadoes and stuff, but luckily the ones, hey Scotty M, and luckily these systems either went south or north of us. The main part of it, we did get some rain out of it, but thankfully the circulation, didn't hit us, thankfully. But yeah, we're right smack dab in the middle of it all. It usually hits right about us, like it's kind of like a gamble if it's gonna, if the dry line's gonna hit right over us or just a little to the east or west of us. But we're kind of right there where that dry line starts to kind of settle. So if it's to the west of us, we end up getting a lot of bad weather. We're always seeing the storm chasers right out here on our highway watching storms. Okay, I think Mister is going to turn that chicken coop he is working on to a man cave instead.
He's
So
out
where
there.
the chicken's gonna stay?
My husband, his man cave is the shop. Mouse, you've seen that? We have a
Yes.
TV in there because he's out there more than he's in the house. Like literally, unless he's not feeling well, he's out there. So he comes in about an hour before bed, watches a show or two, and then watches the news, and then he gets a shower and crawls in bed. But other than that, he's not in the house.
He's living the life I'm looking forward to one day.
I love it, Squib.
Yeah,
that's how to make a marriage last, too.
Well, yeah. He has his space. I have mine. He has the shop. All we need out there is a bed. He took an old seat, a full seat from a truck, and he put some stands on it, so it's like a couch. So he has it out there, and he sits on it and watches TV like when he's wanting to take a break. Hey, BC, great to see you. Yeah, there's been some bad storms. Thankfully, they're further east, so luckily we haven't been hit. So anyway, all right, we better get on with our discussion because it'll take a little while to get through all this. Okay, so if you're staying at home, do you have alternate lighting? Okay, do you have, the electric goes out, if you have a generator, great, but what if you run out of fuel? You still need, or if it's not solar powered, or if it is solar powered and the sun's not out, then you've got to find a way to have light. So make sure you have alternative lighting in the event the power goes out. Lanterns and oil, battery lanterns, make sure you have extra batteries for those, candles and matches or lighters to light them. So you need to make sure you have that.
Wicks and lamp oil, right?
First aid items are, yes. First aid items are a must to have on hand. What if the roads are impassable and somebody ends up, while they're splitting wood or whatever, end up cutting themselves? They need they need some bandages to be able to put on there and something to clean it. And you have to have extra bandage. You could never have enough bandages. You do not realize, unless you've had a severe injury, how many bandages you use, because you can't just keep those same bandages on for umpteen days. You have to change them regularly. You have to keep that wound clean. So make sure you have everything necessary to take care of
get wound wash too. The saline, purified water and saline solution spray because every time if there's a cut, you have to change to stop it from becoming infected. You have to spray off the old, pus, or whatever has grown.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so you need, they have bottles at like Long's or Walmart of like wound wash spray.
You can get those large syringes that don't have the needle on them. Stuck that saline in there. You can even make your own saline if you need to. For making your own saline wash and stuff. You just need to make sure that, like those big syringes, they look like syringes, but, you can use those to flush out a wound if you need to. Lavender essential oil is great for wounds. It helps reduce scarring. It helps kill bacteria. It helps promote healing, a quicker healing time. So that's great to have on hand. But just make sure you have those, and make sure you have some training for how to use those properly. Do a basic first aid training, CPR training, things like that, to help you.
And those are usually free, right? Those classes, like the Red Cross or...
Right, they're free or they're pretty cheap, and they're definitely worth having. Definitely worth having. Let's see. BC says, I have solar, oil lamps, propane lamps, battery lamps. I'm afraid of the dark. You're funny. Well, I don't want to be stumbling around in the dark if I don't have to be. So.
Yeah, sorry if night vision is still on my list of stuff to get on my wish list, on my bucket list, more like.
Right. I'm not afraid of the dark, BC. I'm afraid of what might be in the dark, okay?
Yes.
See. The dark's no problem. It's just what might be lurking there. So
crickets.
Have emergency contacts down on paper in your emergency preparedness binder. You do not want, and in your bags if you're doing a bug out bag. Even if you're leaving, you want those down on paper, because if something happens to your phone, most people don't even take the time to memorize anybody's phone numbers anymore. They just include your utilities numbers and stuff like that on that sheet. Have yourself a little cheat sheet with your utilities, their phone numbers, and with physician information, family and friends, things like that. Also, make sure you have a corded phone for your home. If you have a home phone service, make sure you have a corded phone, because if the electric's out, the cordless do not work. And let me tell you that our cordless phone has come in handy so many times. It's well worth having it. Don't buy one of those cheap dollar store ones either, because I've had many of those that just end up not working when I really needed them to. So I invested about $35-40 in a really good corded phone. Make sure you have that on hand, because whenever you're needing to get a hold of the power company or family, say you're trying to get a hold of family, or family's trying to get a hold of you because they've seen the tornadoes come through your area. Say the electric's out, at least they could still get through on the phone line. If the tornado didn't hit us, we could let them know, or they could call and check on us, Yeah,
relying on just cell phone towers to be up. I mean, the first thing that goes in an emergency is the cell phone tower.
Yes.
Exactly.
And that's a good point about writing down not just the number, Oily, but an address. So many people depend on email. They don't send letters anymore. So that if somebody was worried, and say you lived in a neighborhood with a name and a tornado came through, when they call the police or whatever emergency number, they need to know your physical address
Exactly.
And
That is true. That is true. That's a good point. And you know, you need to have it for other people. Say you've heard of a tornado, like my daughter lives at Weatherford. Say, you know, tornado hit there. You know, if I don't have her address, I don't have a way for them to check to make sure that she's okay. Hey, Kojo. Let's see. So anyway, that's, make sure you have that, and make sure, let's see.
I have an old Princess see-through phone, and when we had the ice storm come through Greenville, I was the only person without like a smartphone, and of course towers went out, and they were lined up out my front door waiting for use of my landline, because nobody else but me, because I was the oldest in the neighborhood, would even think to have a landline. And after the second day where they couldn't contact anybody, word spread, so I'd put the Princess phone, had a long cord outside. I'd make them sit on the icy porch. I was like, I don't want but people in my house. I'm like, call whoever you want, you know, if I don't care, but you're not coming inside.
It's true. I mean, most of our family doesn't have a corded phone, you know, in our area or our neighbors. So the things that I try to tell them to help them, you know, and once they come and borrowed it, they know.
I've got.
What do you have
this
there?
This is an Eaton power. Let me see if I can forget how to shake it which way. It's basically Eaton charger's got you can charge your cell phone or any USB device, and you just shake it. If it's got 4 lights, it's fully charged. Yeah, it can charge your cell phone twice. So on a full charge, so I could use a cell phone if the towers are up, you know, and then charge it twice on, you know, completely up with that. So it's not completely renewable, but in a pinch, it's, you know, you can recharge it off of anything that has USB charge.
I have a solar one.
Oh yeah.
And it works pretty good. It charged my phone pretty quickly. Don't buy something like this and then wait until a storm to see if it's going to work.
Right.
People, make sure you have it beforehand. And I have one for in my vehicle and one for in the house, or for the house as well. And also, you know, if say the cell phone towers are down and it's for an extenuated period of time, like my husband has to go down to the well house to turn the water, you know, hook the generator up to the water pump out there or whatever. So one of the things that I love is, you know, having handheld radios. That way if the cell towers are out and he's down there, he ends up needing help, or he needs to check and see if the water's coming on in the house, he's not having to run back and forth or whatever, you know, or one of us have to go down there and then him tell us to run up to the house to see if the water's running. So that makes that nice as well. And a battery or solar powered radio to keep track of the weather and news reports. Extra batteries for the battery powered radios. Extra prescription medication, oils, tinctures on hand for all family members and pets. And don't let yourself run out of meds and then be without. So if your physician, you know, whether it's meds or it's herbals, make sure you keep enough on hand. Even if you have to see if you can get an extra prescription and pay out of pocket instead of your insurance covering it, so that you have it just set aside for emergencies. And then when you get your new prescription filled, take your new one and put it in that place and then use the older one. So you're always keeping it rotated and keeping it fresh, but at least you have that on hand. Any comments out there that?
A lot of good comments. Let's see. A small 12-volt inverter in his truck for charging devices. Finger Lakes Prepper. And let's all think of some prayers right now. There's a tornado west of BC in Oil City, Louisiana, and that's extremely frightening. And let's see. And Faith made a good point asking, does everyone know the SOS fires? And I said, no, I'd need to look it up. And she said it's 3 fires in a triangle means SOS. Now that's pretty cool, you know?
That's, yeah. I've read that before, but I have forgotten that, because when you're trying to take in a bunch of information at once, you you do tend to forget a lot of what you're reading.
Yes. And Dan said ham radios, right? And how in cell phone failure, a lot of times text work, that's the only thing my husband could get from me from Greenville to here at the coast, was he could read my text messages. And then, of course, Squiblobe said we could use the signal flag, the subspace radio, right? And those kind of things. And I like Kojo, buy an old retired Air Force phone. It rings by itself, call a priest and bury it under some Bibles. He's so not right. He's so bad. He's our bad boy. Oh my gosh.
The subspace radio was a joke. That's to communicate between planets. It's a Star Trek reference.
I know, that's why I said it was funny.
I was going to say, what the hell is a subspace radio? I've been studying for my
if you're not a big
FCC
enough
license.
nerd,
It didn't say anything about a subspace.
it uses tachyon beams to communicate at faster than the speed of light.
I don't think we have that technology.
Star Trek Voyager, I watched Captain Janeway. I said stand on the roof and yell. Chicks are best at that. You know? Yeah.
Well, I mean, we can't make a subspace transwarp conduit either, so.
Right.
Okay.
But we're not lost in the Delta Quadrant.
But I'd like a phaser rifle.
But yeah, but Glock is kind of the same thing. Bzz, bzz. Okay.
Glock versus the world.
Never mind.
It just doesn't have a stun setting. It's always set to kill.
Hi, Curious Yellow Solar and Southern Style 357. Welcome. Let's see.
So when you're talking about communication in a disaster situation, I know that they'll go to search house by house, and when they have cleared a house, they'll go ahead and mark it with spray paint, fluorescent spray paint or something like that.
Yep.
So is it good to have maybe something with different color? I don't know if it's paint or maybe tape or
what color?
Maybe one of those tarps that you were talking about, Mouse, in maybe something other than a normal color like blue or brown or black or gray or silver or something.
So you could type clear or something, or because if you don't want your house searched, just type clear on it and with a tag your house.
In my little 3-ring binder, because after Katrina in New Orleans, Louisiana, where they got hit so hard, I got like Squib was saying, it doesn't matter the color of the X, right? But what matters is what's in it, because you'll want to use the symbol for like dead body is in it. Like, remember, they'd have one, and it would be like A for one animal, and the other one was like, I forget, it's in my binder, but I have a laptop in my lap right now. But I would.
So if they put a Z in it, it means they're zombies, right?
No. No, but in all seriousness, you'd want to know what's a way, because there's the other one for disease, just like Oily has there, and like Squib talked about, is so that they wouldn't come in. And I forget what the one for disease is, but I could have had my binder.
It makes me think of that movie Swiss Family Robinson, where they're trying to scare away the pirates, so they raise the flag on the derelict ship for disease on board.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then that way they won't come in,
Yeah, and if they're going through in this is for a pandemic situation or something like that, but they'll put an X on there. One spot will be how many survivors, how many found that were deceased, all of that. And that's good to know, so also that if you're checking on family and you're going to their house, you can see that their home's already been searched. You can see that they've already, and you can see if somebody passed during that time. And a lot of times those whole neighborhoods, they'll try to evacuate them to camps or whatever, which I would never go to a camp.
Nope.
But that's just how I am.
Well, and that's also why we've got the black. They're just sheets that I got that I dyed black, and I just double them up because we got the battery backup. And because I'm on a marsh, I don't want anybody seeing a light far off. I want to be able to lay low, right? Make it look like there ain't nothing to get up in here except a funky dead body and some kind of disease, so that I can be left alone. Because I'm like you. I'm not getting in the FEMA truck. I'm not evacuating. I'm holding my own. But they don't need to know I'm in here. You know what I mean?
You're using the black curtains to hide the light, keep it from escaping.
Yes, because right now, yeah, I just have the nice 2-inch blinds, but because I'd have power, I'm going to stand out like a turd in a punch bowl. You know what I mean? It's going to be like the beam. So.
And they do the same thing. The military does the same thing on ships because the light will travel a long distance out in the open ocean. And when you walk outside at night, you actually have to go through like a little maze, and there are different walls that keep the light from getting out of the ship, because once you open that hatch, even for a short time, people can see it for miles. Now, you may have trees and other things in the way. That light's going to travel somewhat. So if somebody's looking around, they'll notice the light in the dark. So
Yeah, in World War II, when they had convoy systems, you know, if somebody left on a convoy ship, on a merchant ship, left a porthole open and there was a light coming out, the convoy escorts would come by and say, you know, scream through, you know, over for the ship loudspeaker to shut that porthole or we'll machine gun it.
Okay, see, that's good to know. And Squib, I can use that as far as going out the door. I need to have a second one. Right, so that I go behind a curtain, before I go through the door. Thanks for that.
Because
I gotta write that down.
The light will find a way out. Jared just brought up something in the chat there. No smoking cigarettes at night. And I forgot about that. I didn't smoke when I was in the service, but yeah, you can see that little cigarette cherry from a distance too. So now on one hand, if you're trying to lay low, you don't want all these things that are going to get attention. On the other hand, if it's not some situation where you're trying to lay low,
we lose them.
That I guess, right? You want the EMS to get there, but
yes,
you want the EMS to be able to show up, but you don't want looters to pick your house out of all of the houses. So you want to be able to do either or.
Yes, very smart, very good advice. Thanks for that.
And I think I had this conversation on somebody else's chat once. Is like, if you're going to do any cooking, you may want to stockpile, like, you know, some animal manures so you could burn it to cover up whatever the good smell of. If you're going to have a barbecue, you don't want, you know, everybody from a mile away to smell your bacon or, you know, whatever. And if you killed a pig or something and you're barbecuing a pig, you know, everybody's going to smell that from a mile away. So.
Do you remember the series? They came out, it was just on YouTube, and one was in Britain, and it was Lights Out. And that was one of their scenarios, because they live in very, you know, detached housing, and they're all up on each other. And this family had their little stove tech, a husband and wife and their kid, and they're warming up their food because they were basically preppers. Well, up over the fence pops a neighbor and goes, "Hey, smells good." It's a real good point, because then that's why the hell I live in the country. But you're absolutely spot on about that.
Yeah, so if you have some, like, you know, horse manure, you just you save that for burning. You know, save dried horse manure to burn later. You know, to cover up any cooking smells.
Right. And let me see. Somebody said something really cool. Oh, it was JM at the Nut House. Check with your local fire station. This would also be good if you know a trucker friend. They've got the hazmat signs and stickers. Make friends, and perhaps they might gift you a few. You know how truckers, you know, they've got the different signs on the back for what they're carrying. That was dead smart idea right there. Because my fire department, there's like 3 volunteers, and they just leave it unlocked when they go to a fire or a wreck, and I just go liberate some of those. They're hanging right there in the garage.
The fire department.
Yeah, they leave the door open. They ain't got a camera or nothing. It's like, oh, I'll take 2 of these. That is very smart. I really wouldn't do that, but that's a great idea, JM.
Rane, you're so true. The olfactory glands will be working overtime and starving people, I'm sure.
And something else about the cigarettes. How many times has the military, somebody's on our side even, given away their location, people sneaking them, and they're following the tobacco smoke? You know, even though they got the little cover they can put over, it's very pungent in a forest. So.
Yeah, and I mean, so is, like, you know, soap. Like, you know, if you have like a scented detergent, that'll let everybody in the area know you're around. If you just wash your clothes in scented detergent, I mean, you know, after a while in the forest, you get, you know, or in the bushes, you get, you know, sensitized to these things. And I can tell you, it's pretty strong. When after I had my surgery, I mean, I couldn't. I was so sensitive to, you know, scented laundry, scented fresh washed clothes, and scented laundry detergent. It was like I just tell all the nurses to don't come to work unless, you know, if you with clean clothes, wear dirty clothes, because as soon as they would walk in, I would start coughing,
Yes.
and so not to mention if somebody had roses or something, for one of the other patients or flowers, God help you. But yeah, it's sent, in Vietnam, I know that that like the Vietnamese smoked a certain kind of cigarettes that smell different than American cigarettes. So
Yeah.
if you're living out in the woods, these things become very apparent.
BC says that he can smell bacon a mile away, and Faith made a good point, just what you were saying, Volcano, which is don't use scented candles either outside.
Exactly.
One time I remember when I was a kid and my family took a vacation driving up the coast to Oregon, and like about 5 miles before we even got there, we were driving up and there's a river on the side of the highway, and we all smelled fish. Somebody was cooking a fish, but it was like 5 miles away from where we originally, because just the wind was blowing in that direction, and it's like, boy, that smells great. What is it? And like 5 miles later, we see the guy, by the river who caught a fish and was cooking it. It's like, wow, so if you.
Hey guys, real quick, I just want to stop and say a quick prayer for protection for BC's family and for them, because he said that the tornado's getting closer. It's in Benton, Louisiana, and that's where his wife's 95-year-old daddy lives. So let's say a quick prayer. Yes. Father God, we just lift up BC's father-in-law and BC's family, and we just pray, Lord, for all of those in that area. Father God, that you would just put a shield of protection about them, Lord, in Jesus' name. Please just have the storm lift so that everyone in that area will be safe. We just plead the blood of Jesus over each one of them. We thank you and praise you, and we give you all the glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
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 Very scary. Very, very scary.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, Faith Abounds, or not, let me see, who was it? Finger Lakes Prepper said that he stockpiles the scentless hunting soap and shampoo just for that reason.
Yeah.
It's not just for hunting; it's for covering your scent as well. So that's
hypoallergenic soaps and body washes and shampoo and hypoallergenic laundry detergent. That's all available if you look for it.
Yes.
Are any of the essential oils scented?
Well, every one of them are scented. I mean, it's the
plan.
Yeah, you're not really going to find one, because what it is it's taking the essence, the immune system of the plant, and it's concentrating it really tightly. So if a plant smells, an essential oil is going to be, even a plant that you love the smell of it, an essential oil may be so concentrated that you can't stand the smell of it. So like, I love the smell of thyme and basil and all of that, but the essential oil is like 100 times stronger. It's actually about 80 times stronger than the fresh herb smell. So remember that. So essential oils are great to use, but if you're trying to cover a scent, you probably don't want to use that.
Yeah, I guess that was kind of a dumb question, because I used an oil for the first time this week, and it did smell like peppermint, but I wasn't sure if that was natural or artificial.
Not dumb at all.
Well, no, I didn't think about it before I asked. Right after I asked, I thought, wait a minute, that stuff I used kind of smelled minty. So.
Yeah, I haven't found an essential oil yet that doesn't have a mild. Copaiba is probably the mildest scent I've ever smelled, and it just has a mild wood scent to it. So, and it's great for pain and inflammation. So, it's also a great. Well, no, I'm thinking clove on the great ORAC value, which is for killing free radicals. But it's great for inflammation and pain. I take that right under my tongue, just straight, and it's wonderful for kids' teething pain and stuff like that too.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Rane is here. Whoa!
Hey, Mr. Rane, hey! Good to see you. I love the little hat on his little smiley deal too.
If anybody has anything mechanical needs to be fixed or anything like concrete, your pants, we have BC and Mr. Rane. Your problems are solved. There's an instructional manual in their heads.
Yeah, yeah. My husband's a lot that way too, but I have to say, like, BC's like my husband on steroids, and I'm sure Mr. Rane is probably the same way. I mean, they can do about anything. But can you imagine with all three of them together what they could do? That would
Good God. We would be able to get that, what did you talk about, Squib, on the Captain
Oh, the
Janeway?
subspace radio?
We could
Yeah,
have that in like an hour.
Yeah.
JoJo just saying, I wish on the comment you made it out to the side. I really wish there was an essential oil for that. That's maybe the one thing I don't have an essential oil for. Okay, another thing to think about, do you have a way, non-electric wise, to wash your clothes and to dry your clothes? When we had our, basically 10 days and then another 5 or 6 days the following week without electric, you talk about a mess as far as clothing and stuff goes. So another tip is to have some paper plates and cups and plasticware on hand. If you know storms are coming, you need to have that so that you have a way where you're not having to use so much of your stored water if you don't have a way to replenish your water very easily. So keep that in mind. But
yeah, I got slammed for suggesting that I clean my dishes, but I wanted to say from last week as a carryover, when I was my first job ever, when I was like in grade school, that I ever had was washing dishes in the cafeteria at Hamlin Street Elementary School, and so I keep my dishes clean. So because if I wait till the power's out and there's no water, I'm just gonna have dirty dishes, and, no water to clean them with. So I keep them clean.
You're right. Prepper Madness made a good point. A tub and washboard's great. You can also, like, I just bought a bucket, and then the clothes plunger thing, it's like a plunger, but it has slits in it so the water can go through, and you just can plunge it down. Of course, you can't do a ton of clothes at once, but it's the same way with the washboard. You're doing one piece at a time. So you can put a few pieces in there and do that, and then have a separate bucket to rinse them out with. And then you need some way to dry it. So either a drying rack, a clothesline for like warm weather, a drying rack, something like that. Maybe you can sit in front of the fireplace or in the kitchen where it's warmer or something like that, or in cooler weather.
Yep, and Rane Country has the greatest 3 videos, I think, on doing off-grid laundry that she pretty much perfected. And in the name of It's All That Holy, get some clothespins. They still sell them. They're even at the Dollar Tree. They sell them on Amazon. You should have clothespins.
They sell them at Walmart.
There are young people who don't know what a clothespin is. You know that.
That's
really
scary. That's really scary. We have clotheslines out here, but I'm honest, I don't use them, and the reason why I don't is because we cannot get rid of the stickers, grass burrs, however you want to call them.
Yep.
In our yard, and it never fails. Either one of the dogs would go out and grab it because they think it's fun when it's flapping in the wind. Because clothes dry quickly here in western Oklahoma because we have a hot wind. It's like convection oven blowing through there.
My folks just got a new dog, and because their old one passed away at Miniature Schnauzer, and they got a new one. It's like a rescue dog, and it has the whenever it gets bored, it goes into one of the bathrooms and unspools a whole roll of toilet paper. It's fun for it. So it's dogs cause problems, but they found their solution has been to they only made one of them and they need more, but to put a empty Pepsi can full of pennies or something and on top of the spool of toilet paper. So if the dog starts to unspool it, then it knocks the can over and the noise scares it. So,
the little barrels you can get there for home mixing concrete. So I used to make a bunch of Mosaic stepping stones.
Yep. That's a great idea.
Yep. My mom and I used to sit there because New Orleans, Louisiana, power, party lines, crime. Somebody'd cut the line, a big truck hit the line, and we put our clothes in that. It would kick it back and forth to each other because it's so hot there, remember? You needed to not have a whole lot of effort. And then open the end, pour it out, and we had an old wringer washer. The washing machine didn't work with the metal wringer. And then we'd hang it on the clothesline. And like Oklahoma, it was so hot there, they dried quick.
They have
Yeah,
a Reindeer on Amazon. It's about $145, and it just sits on like you can sit it on the ground or in your tub, and it just has the two rollers, and then you put your clothes in it and do the handle just like that. So
I just throw stuff out on the lanai, on the chairs, or on the weight bench. I don't even bother with the clothesline anymore. But it's a condo, so nobody cares really.
Yeah, that's great, Oily. That one's affordable because normally they start at $299.
Oh yeah, they're expensive. That's why when I saw that one, I've got that on my wish list because I wanted that so bad.
One good thing to get is when you're in an antique store. I had one, but it rusted here because I'm saltwater environment. But it's actually an old rain bird. It's those two big, square, galvanized tin tubs on a stand. And that's exactly what it was for. The ringer attached to the two in the center. I didn't have the ringer, but I could wash a lot of things. And I'd use it for cleaning crawfish, all kind of things. And we just drilled a drain in the bottom and a stopper and then just, let it run out in the yard. But though you can find those a lot at antique stores. And they're like $30.
I think I would just throw my dirty clothes in the condominium pool and then take them out.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I guess if you needed to. Finger Lakes Prepper said, for the FEMA codes, Google National Urban Search and Rescue Response System, Rescue Field Operations Guide. There is a PDF with all the codes, etc. So that's awesome. Thank you for that.
Yes, thank you.
I know I'm missing some comments, and I'm sorry. I promise I'm not ignoring anybody. It's just
running a chat takes much like juggling.
It's been kind of one of those weeks, and my head's still throbbing, but just not as bad. But man, it's been rough. I've been bed bound most of the week, so you have to excuse me.
I am copy and paste that.
If you have little children, do you have extra diapers on hand that are their size? If adults have to have those, do you have extra products like that on hand for them? Do you have extra towels in the event the power goes out and you can't wash your clothes? Do you have enough extra towels, cloths, things like that for washing up and keeping things clean? You want a way to wash yourself and all of your stuff. So do you have a way to dry those clothes that you wash too? So make sure you're thinking, I have a foldable laundry rack that I can sit in front of my fireplace in the winter. Otherwise, I can take it and sit it outside on my porch or whatever in the summer. So that's what I chose to get because it'll work for either season for me. If the adult needs diapers, do you have adult diapers for them or disposable undergarments? We'll call them. And of course, it's recommended to have at least 3 months worth, and we're not there yet, but 3 months worth of money set aside for what all your expenses would be for a month. So you need to keep track of that and figure what it would be and try to start putting back so that you have 3 months in the event of a job loss or something like, or a major injury or something like that.
Or the economy of the bank's closed.
You don't necessarily mean 3 months worth of cash in your house.
Well, my folks just told me how much they have in their safe, and I was like, really? I mean, but they have this huge safe. You don't
have to keep it all in the same area. You can also, and also if you do keep it, make sure you keep it in something that is going to be.
But are you saying 3 months worth of cash, or 3 months between cash in the house, cash in the bank, whatever?
No, cash in the house, not in the bank. Banks can close. Banks can declare a holiday. And,
I prefer the house, and I'll tell you why. Because, like, if you look at hyperinflation or like what happened in Greece, they actually stopped everybody from getting any money out of their bank accounts, and then they actually took they let them, after a few days, they let them.
Have you ever seen It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart? The scene, the bank run scene, where everybody fills up freaking out.
Yeah.
and the Jimmy Stewart walks out and says, "It's not as black as everything looks." And then you hear this, these sirens rush by, and they say, and then so somebody says, "Well, I have $242 in this savings and loan, and I need it back." And he says, "Well, it's the money's not in a vault out back. It's like your money is in her house and his house and her house, and we lent it out. So you want me to foreclose on everybody?" He says, "No, I want $242. It won't break anybody. I need my $242 now." So Jimmy Stewart says, "Okay, sign this piece of paper, and in 60 days you'll get your money." And it's like, 60 days.
But to what Oiley's saying, they did that in Katrina too. They would allow you to take up to $25. $25 ain't
that's not
nothing.
going to do anything for you.
That's right.
It's not easy. Be safe. We'll still continue to pray. Hey, moms, good to see you. But yeah, in Greece, they actually finally, after so many days, they finally let people get a few bucks out of their account. It was like, I know it was no more than 60 out of their accounts. And then they told them that they could come back the following week and get another 60, but then they just completely shut down the banks. And then when they finally opened them back up, they actually took a percentage off of everybody's checking accounts. The government took it. And people think, no, it can't happen here. I guarantee you it can happen here. They've taken our Social Security that we paid in.
Well,
and there's never anything. Well, don't get me started about the economy, or this chat will just be me.
Yeah, because he won't stop. I can vouch for that.
I'm just having to hold myself back.
Okay, hang on. Go ahead, Squib.
Okay, well, we'll switch. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it just means I got to get another safe. That's all.
Well, and another thing is not just for if you get injured or something, but in an emergency, if the electric doesn't work, like down here, if we have a tornado and the electric doesn't work, and you go to the grocery store and you need something, they're not going to be able to run credit cards or debit cards. You're going to have to pay cash. Most of them aren't going to be able to run checks through the checking.
That happened here in Kona. When the fiber optic cable on the island, there was a break in the line, and nobody could process credit card, and everything was, Walmart has like some satellites, so people could go to Walmart, but all the other stores couldn't. You went out to a restaurant, it was cash only. You went for gas, it was cash. They couldn't even do cash.
Yeah, so always keep at least and use smaller bills too. Make sure.
That's what I was about to say. That's why I think I'm going to have to just knuckle up and get yet another safe, is because I wouldn't want to get it all in $100 bills. I'd want a lot of smaller denominations.
Yeah.
And I really just I need to get a good excuse to buy another safe anyhow. So.
And you know what happens when the banks close? When the fiber optic cable broke. I had gone to to get a safety check, and they had needed to do some work on my car at the Chevy dealer. Well, which is because Chevy closed on the Big Island. Now it's really a Toyota dealer handled the Chevy, and all the employees were talking why are we showing up at work? Because all the banks, all the ATMs are closed. The banking system is on a cloud. They don't have access to it, and even if the Toyota dealer could pay the employees that were working on the cars a check, that there's no way that they could cash it at any bank or get anything for the check, and so it was like people won't even show up to work because they can't get paid.
And then here's the other thing. Moms makes a very good point. You don't want to be waiting until a disaster to go get your supplies, because there are people, even though it's against the law, there are people that will hike the prices up on all of that. She was saying in New York that a bottle of water was going for $20 there. When the grid went down and the power went out in New York. So,
and if you look at Venezuela, just type crisis Venezuela and into any internet search engine. There's one lady who used to work an office shift, an 8-hour day in an office, and she made more money. She quit so she could sell coffee to the people waiting in line to get food.
And Willow's Tassie's pointed out. I'm sorry, Squib. Go ahead, hon.
I was just going to say, on 9/11. I didn't go to work that morning because I had to take my son to the doctor's office. And when we got there, the first plane had struck. And while we were waiting, the second plane struck. And when we got out of being done seeing the doctor, they hit the Pentagon. At that point, I knew we were at war. On the way home with my son, I stopped at the gas station and filled up the truck with gas. and it was about $2.50 a gallon. The next morning, the same gas station was $5 or $6 a gallon. The reason I did it was, do you remember the day that Saddam invaded Kuwait?
Yes.
And next day, gas went from 78 cents a gallon to, what was it, like $1.25 or $1.50 a gallon?
Yep, $1.46.
So yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying about them gouging on water, and even though it's illegal, I mean, some of those gas stations did get prosecuted for the price gouging, but it didn't really amount to anything.
Good luck.
And in the water, Willis Tassie made a good point when we were talking about laundry. Make sure you have water. Stored water, not just a couple little 8-ounce bottles or a little pack of Deer Park, right? Because all I do is use it and fill it up from my RO system in my sink. But to actually have that water on hand, and then you can have a lot of empty bottles that you can fill. But yeah, just having that, because the gouging happens and it's supply and demand. And I don't even want to be out there. But like in your case, here you are at the doctor and 9/11 happens and you're just out there.
That's
Through no fault of your own.
I remember I was trading online on a computer just on when 9/11 happened, and I think I had, the fly on the wall, and I was watching CNBC, and the guy on CNBC was just going nuts, I just completely, losing it, and I was like, well, there goes, the airline stocks, and then basically they canceled all the trades that anybody made because obviously there wasn't any trading that day, and the next after the markets reopened like a week later there was or however long, I forget how many days it was, but obviously it was just a huge sell-off, and all they could say on the business channels, it was an orderly sell-off, but it was like straight down.
Attention, trumpet blare, Greg Campbell is here.
Hey! Good to see you. Why am I not seeing?
Okay, it's almost 10.
There it is.
Is it hidden? The mysticism still hidden?
Hidden new myth that had not come tonight.
He don't love us today.
Yeah, he's not feeling us. He's hidden. Good point, Squib.
Okay. The only other thing that I have besides having the extra cash was do you have a plan for picking up your children from school? Say like right now, tornadoes in our area. Do they have a shelter? If they don't, are you going to go up there? A lot of schools in our area, like in Moore, did not want to let the kids out, and there were schools where kids actually ended up killed because of the school. Parents were there saying, I want my child. I don't want them sheltered in. And cylinder block walls fell in on them and killed them because the school would not release them. Now they've changed their policy that they didn't have a shelter. The school would not release them to the parents. So it was a big mess. But, we don't want that to happen again. So you need to have a plan in place. You need to make sure the school knows, I don't care what your dang policy is. If I'm coming here to get my kid, I want my kid. Period. End of story.
Do you remember Atlanta, Georgia, when they had the snow and everybody's got their SUVs and their low-profile tires, and their kids were at school? They knew the snow was coming. They sent them. They had to stay overnight at school, and the only parents who got with their kids were ones who walked. But they were in their cars for 24 hours because they wouldn't get out and walk because they weren't dressed appropriately because they're all rich, and hike over the interstate guardrail and go into the subway or the CVS right there. It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was so sad to watch in a thriving concrete jungle. And the lady goes, I am wearing Gucci shoes. I have no intention of getting out into this mess. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Well, she could have got a spare pair.
Yes. So sad. But those are what some people have for parents. Be afraid. But you're absolutely right on a plan to get them. And how many people know how to walk to their kids' school?
Yeah. And you need to make sure, that you have a plan. If communications are down, who's going to be responsible to go get them? That way you're not trying to figure out who was going to go get them and both of you be out in it. You have a plan in place beforehand. And also, do you have a fire extinguisher? Does everybody know how to use it? Because having one doesn't matter if people don't know how to use it. And I had never used a fire extinguisher until I worked worked at a hospital, and that was one of the things they had that was mandatory, that everybody needed to know how to, and they needed to demonstrate that they know how to use it.
Yes.
So basically, if you don't, pull the pin, aim it at the base of the fire, and sweep side to side, back and forth. And when is it best to just get out? Don't try to put out a blazing. If your whole kitchen's on fire, there's no need in trying to grab that fire extinguisher. You just need to grab your family members and your pets and get out the door.
Yes.
Also, you can use the fire extinguisher to break glass if you're trapped somewhere and you need to get through a window, and the fire extinguisher is not going to put out the big fire behind you.
Exactly. And kids need to know that in an event that they're trapped in a room where there's a fire, they have a right to bust a window to crawl out. They need to have a way to do that. Give them ideas. Teach them fire emergency exit plans and a meeting area if your house is on fire and you have to evacuate. Where are we going to meet? If the fire's there, where's an alternative place to meet? You want to have some places on that.
The basic thing to remember about fires is that, even if your whole place burns down and you can't get one thing out of there, as long as all your family's out of there, that's the most important thing, because,
Exactly.
I lost all my stuff in a fire and I was okay. It was easy to move into the next place. I borrowed a blanket and bought a candle and I was moved in, so all that stuff that you carry around, it really doesn't mean anything,
Nope.
So save the living souls and get out.
Exactly. And kids need to know things like the stop, drop, and roll if they're caught on fire, and not to hide if there's a fire, because hiding from a fire is not going to help. You need to find a way to get out and do it right now, and not wait for somebody to come get you. You get out now.
And JM just made a good point. Baking soda on a small grease fire,
Exactly.
but don't
Or
store
flour.
it. Don't store it over your stove in the above cabinet, when the flame's coming up and you're trying to reach.
Yeah.
I've watched people do that. I go, where's your baking soda? Up there? Well, yeah, let me reach through the flames, you freaking idiot. And then they try to go get water. In the name of all that's holy, don't throw that on there. It's just, I just had to walk out and I thought she's going to die, but she's so stupid. She's going to throw water on it and that grease is going to hit me. And I'm like, just really, seriously? And I went and took a comforter off her bed and smothered it, and she cried because that was a really good comforter. It was her favorite. It was a 4-foot flame. Her oven vent was melting.
Woo.
Really? That was my
again,
last.
Priorities.
Thank you. And that was my last stupid friend. She was blonde. She was pretty. And my husband liked her husband. And I said, she's dumber than a bag of hammers. And when I came home reeking of smoke, I'm done with her. Done with her. She could have killed me. Lisa was her house, not mine.
Well, pretty blonde girls have their uses from time to time.
Well, for boys, I don't roll like that. Remember, I'm married to a man, not a girlfriend. Okay?
I'm sure you were thinking if her house burns down, she might try to move in with me, so I better save her house.
That's exactly what I thought. And if I'd have had duct tape, I'd have taped her to the front of that stove and let her burn. Okay? And ended all my problems.
Said, you mean I got to save my wife before my tools?
Yes. Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. We love her. Okay?
We need her information. She shares.
Wife before tools. Okay?
Your gold and silver will still be there after the fire. You just have to dig them up. I think all gold is formed in a supernova and then, eventually congeals in when planets are formed and then is dug up by people. So, yeah, if your place burns down, you can still, go get your stuff,
Have you ever had that happen in California? I was watching them after fires. They are required by the state to hire a company. Of course, they're probably in a union, right, and work for a senator somewhere, a Democrat.
Yeah, they
and
come
they
and
have
take
to
all
go,
the debris and clear it out.
No. They have to put a fence, a chain link fence. Those people sift behind it. They cannot even step foot on their property. They have to be in the street, and they walk over with the colander and show them what they have.
Well, I was
insane?
in a fire and I had my place burned down, and all that was left after the fire was ashes. It was like London after the bomb, and the only thing that survived was like the metal L bracket to my Solo Flex. It was just a big L thing, so I took that, and the Red Cross gave me a voucher for first month and last month's rent, and I got free rent on the beach for a couple of months. But so I took that L from the Solo Flex with me. I mean, everything else burned. The wood bench on it burned. Everything I had burned in.
But listen,
and
are
so,
you
but
in
it's
California?
no. I used to live
Okay.
there, and
Okay,
and so
see, you're smart.
I got used to living on the beach. But anyway, so that under the place that I rented after the fire, there's still a Solo Flex under the under the apartment.
But listen, the law requires them to hire those people. It's required. They have to put up the fence.
Yeah.
Their insurance doesn't cover it. They're looking for toxic materials, and you can't even step foot on your property.
It's dangerous. It's dangerous.
But listen, I wouldn't sift through nothing. It's burned. It's done. Okay,
I know, but emotionally,
my insurance check.
Emotionally, well, I was renting, so it basically emotionally, it's like all your stuff, and you just want to go there and see what's left, So I was sifting through it, and one of the guys who also used to live there said, "Hey man, just go to the Red Cross shelter at the church, and you'll be glad you did." So that's what I did, because I wasn't really getting anything done. It took me a few minutes to realize that I wasn't actually achieving anything by sifting through. But I did make the front of the Channel 2 News in Los Angeles, because they had me walking over this, burned out piece of wood, to open up the news, and I was balancing on it, But that was like the 91 fire or something like that, or 92. Clinton declared Malibu a disaster zone.
Faith Abound said that when she went through CERT, most of the class could not work a fire extinguisher, and people don't think about it. They just think that they're going to know how to do it. You need to learn about how to use it before the time comes. Don't wait until the time comes and you're reading the instructions on the dang fire extinguisher.
Okay, so I have a question. Raise your hand if you have been at the hairdresser when you didn't want to be gray because you were only 38 and you had the plastic cap on with the hairs pulled out because you were getting highlights because you wanted to look good back then because, again, you were young, and a dryer catches on fire. The dryer catches on fire, and there's 7 women in there who work there. There's me and other customers, and so the smoke alarm's going off, the building's evacuating, and they have 3 fire extinguishers, and no one but me can drive it. And they take video, and it makes the news. Hello.
Hairdressers.
I saved those witches' dryer, and I turn around, and there is me with the 27 pieces of hair sticking out, and I wanted to burn the building down. I never went back to that salon. I'm so furious.
Well, were you on the news?
Station. Yes, I just said it made the news. And the news could have blocked out my face, but no, there was me looking like an alien with 36 whittle dupes and no aluminum foil because my hairdresser didn't like to use foil, so I looked like an alien and my glasses were crooked.
Can we get a video of that? It would go viral on YouTube.
It was humiliating, and that's what and with the cape, that hideous leopard cape. And I had on tennis shoes. I looked like I was an 80-year-old alien woman. It was horrid.
You made Phyllis Diller look good, is what you're saying.
Exactly. It's like witches. And so the news, I was like, you need to block out my face. That's not right. So my husband laughed and laughed and laughed harder. And that was it. No more $175 a month.
Did you call up the news and tell them to block out your face?
I did, but see, times were different then because I'm 60 now and I was 38 then. Yeah. And they played it again at 11. They played it the next day at noon. Thanks to a fast-thinking customer getting her hair colored in highlights, she saved the back of a, strip shopping center. And it was a leopard drape. It was horrid. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I'm not saving anybody with no fire extinguisher because I'm going to turn around looking fly with the smoke going behind me. I'm going to do the victory walk, honey. I'm going to do a snap, left, right, left, hip thrust, and walk my way out. So when I make the news, I am looking fly this time with smoke billowing behind me.
The fire marshal didn't make you an honorary firefighter or nothing? They didn't give you a hat or let you, I don't know, drive the truck? Or
No, I didn't get a badge, a parade, nothing. I just made the news. Humiliated. I'm done with it.
Well, at least nobody will recognize you in real life, though, if you look like horrible.
That. My husband laughed so hard, and he
stayed not go up. Shopping for 2 weeks or something like that.
He stayed up so that he could watch it again at 11. Mm-hmm. Mr. 9:15 stayed up till 11.
God, I would pay for that videotape of
It's
that.
horrible.
Oh man, me too.
What channel was it on? Maybe we can pull it from the tape.
Okay,
Oh,
this
no.
never happened. Yeah, I'm making it up. It's a joke. No, it's really happened and it sucked. But that never save. If it's your house on fire, use the extinguisher. Too many people have cameras now, and it'll be your worst moment. You know, trying to crank
Oh
it
my
back like a freaking, what do you call that, a chainsaw? These people are stupid.
God.
You know, all these women, and that nobody was running through the door. Okay, they're all going, oh my God, because they didn't want to walk out with their hair sticking out the plastic hat. Right?
They'd rather burn alive.
They're like this on the video, right? And I turn around and there it is. Horrible. After, of course, they got me from
So
the back.
obviously they look in the newsroom and they see that and they go, that's the lead.
Yeah. Yeah. My husband was a bigwig at a corporation. He goes, oh, yeah, look at there. That's his old lady. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she could drive a fire extinguisher.
Well, we better cut this chat off. I want to say thank you to each one of you that have come to be on the panel this
You forgot
week.
the wine.
Oh, yeah, he bought some wine, and it's iChart wine. That's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Cute.
But thank each of you for coming. We all did I'm sure we all done our 3 preps this week. Sorry we didn't have time to get to that, but we were having a lot of fun, and we just needed a good laugh. So anyway, I hope that this is thought-provoking and get you to thinking about some things that maybe you haven't thought of. Maybe you have more than this, and if you do, I want to know. I want you to. I'll add it to my list. But for those that want a copy of my notes, I will post them over on Oily's Humble Home over on Facebook, on my Facebook page. The link should be in the description box, along with my panelists. Their link should be in the description box, except for Squib, because he says he doesn't do videos and stuff, so he just comes and is a part, and we're so glad that all of you are a part of our chat, and we love that you come and interact with us. We appreciate you. And everybody stay safe. And again, for a reminder, those that can, we will not have a preppers chat this coming week because we are remodeling our bathroom. So, and then it's also my daughter's birthday at the end of the week also. So
Cool.
We will pick it back up the following week, and we will discuss what you do if you're leaving. So, like bug out bags and things like that. So keep that in mind, and we will see you all next time. Thanks for coming. Love y'all.
Get prepped.
Night.
Bye.